We are activating your unique self-discovery one show at a time. The Orchard of Wisdom Self-Discovery podcast are at your fingertips, just waiting to inspire and invite you in discovering just how awesome you really are and how to navigate through life in joy, enrichment, personal abundance, in mind, body, spirit, heart, and soul. All the people we bring you are here to serve you on your journey of life. Do enjoy our next show. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ignite Your Heart and Soul right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest joining me today is Jeanine Thompson. What is going on? Who am I? And the answer is always closer than it might seem. She's the author of a new book called 911 for the Soul, and we're going to be talking about the igniting of your heart and soul in every aspect of your life. And that includes business, because if your soul and your heart aren't in it, you ain't doing business right. She says that, are you searching for that exclusive something missing? Do you feel an urgency that time is clicking by too fast? If you don't crack that code in your life, you'll have regrets. All parts of your life thriving less than your sense of possible, completely off course, or turned upside down. Do the local and global unfoldings feel overwhelming? All around us, life seems to be turning upside down, twisting inside out, being a hurricane and a tornado all at once. She says, enter the great search. What is going on and who am I? She's a speaker, a transformational coach, a former clinical psychotherapist, Fortune 500 executive, and the author of 911 for Your Soul. She's a multifaceted expert who shapes her perceptive and underpinnings of the great search, the crumbling of the systems that are no longer viable, and what are you really seeking? And the problem, she says, people universally feel a longing for what is sacred. They've lost their connection to the very essence of who they are and the creative power that we are. There's a bigger call happening, a call to remember that undying connection to something bigger than us and to the oneness of who we are. And the search is not eternal. So let's help people on that search today, Jeanine, because gosh, when they're willing to take the journey and the wonderful little epiphanies that they have along the way, and when they get to that space of God, I've arrived, it is a really wonderful feeling, isn't it?
Indeed, it is. I think it's probably the most miraculous feeling there is.
And with all the bumps and redirects and cul-de-sacs and cosmic 2x4s and everything else that you're going to get along the way, because they're all lessons. They're all steering us in that right direction. But nobody can get there without the free will. We have got to step into that free will of like, I don't know how to get there. I'm willing to learn. Somebody please guide me. And then the teacher turns up, right? But we've got to get out of our heads, as you said, the turmoil that's going on in the world, and ask ourselves, how can we be a part of the solution and not the problem? How can we?
Yeah, well, my goodness. There was so much there, but how can we be part of the solution and not the problem? I think we have all been trained that the answer lies outside of ourselves. So we over rely on the news or the media, social media in various facets, or authority figures or gurus. And although there can be value in those perspectives, I think the greatest way that we can be part of the solution is to actually reconnect with the parts of ourselves that we've lost sight of along the way. You know, on that external journey, it pulls us out.
Yes.
It pulls us out of our wisdom. It pulls us out of the expanded potentiality, this trove of gifts and wisdom and solution and joy that's already alive and well within us. But we don't hear it because we're too busy in our 70,000 thoughts a day, too busy deferring to the experts So we miss it. So I think the greatest way to be part of the solution, and honestly, the greatest way to live who you came here to be and all you came here to be, is the gift of turning inward.
Life is an inside out job, not an outside in, right? Um, we've been conditioned for
Mhm.
generations and generations now, that everything is on the outside. The religious factor told us how to pray and how to connect. The government told us our status in life. Our economics told us our status in life. Our education told us our affluence in life. And everything was, we are going to pigeonhole you, and that is where you are meant to stay. And we
Yes.
bought into it. And then,
Mhm.
along came things like the internet, where we started receiving and reaching other people and being open-eyed to other cultures that don't live that way. And there's two streets that we've gone down. One, we've bought everything we've seen and gone hysterical about it during the hurricane. And the other
Mhm.
is like, oh gosh, I can have a conversation with somebody about something deep that I can't do within my vicinity. And it
Mhm.
allows me to ask the questions. It allows me to pursue, the answers, and to turn the eyes in and look within myself. But
Yeah.
life is a choice, and we've got to choose the choice that's going to benefit that insight.
Mhm. For sure. And what I'm always struck by, and what I'm deeply grateful for, is that, most of my life I had my hands gripping the steering wheel, you know, trying to direct it, trying to, pretty perfectionistic,
Mm,
was over functioning,
mhm,
trying to manage and control everything, thought that that was the way
mhm.
that I could shape the life that I wanted.
Well, because you were conditioned to believe that, right?
That's right,
Yeah.
and then along the way, here comes this 911 from my soul. And
Hmm.
at first it feels like a crisis,
Hmm.
and only at some future point can you look back and see that it was the greatest invitation
Hmm.
masquerading as a
Yes.
crisis, but it really was the invitation for me to tune inward,
Hmm.
because none of the expert solutions were working. Each and every one of your listeners will get to a point where they'll have expert outside guidance. They're going to have all sorts of financial, medical, political, family, friend points of view. And then they're going to be invited to get still and ask the wisdom that they actually are. What is my truth? What
Yeah.
is my path
Hmm.
forward? Even the best intentioned helpers
Yes.
around us, no one will ever know the most efficacious or the most beneficial pathway except you. So
Hmm.
I think sometimes crisis is well, not sometimes. I think it always can be a beautiful thing, because it actually forces us to reconnect with the deeper truth that we actually are this divine intelligence. Doesn't
We
have
are.
to be religious. It can be
Mm-mm-mm.
entelechy. The Greeks used to say,
Mm-mm.
right? It's the entelechy of a acorn seed to become an oak tree, a
Mm-mm.
caterpillar to become a butterfly. Well, you too have this inner genius, this entelechy of potential that every day is sending you love notes saying, I want this for you. You've got this. There's something more to you. You know your way.
Yeah.
But crisis kind of sometimes puts us down on our knees. And when we're down on our knees, actually, I've been there literally, I've been there metaphorically.
Yes.
I'm down on my knees, and my familiar solutions and the outside world solutions didn't work. I reconnected with this chest of a brighter future
Mm.
that led the way. It
Yeah.
became my lighthouse, one step at a time, one small act at a time.
It's not happening to you, it's happening for you
and through you,
and
right?
through you.
If
The
we
for
can,
you is to discover the through you, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
when we step into courage,
Mm,
we discover our strength, then we discover our abilities.
yeah,
And then through that strength and courage and abilities, when we discover our purpose. And
yeah.
through that, everything becomes more connected. And the
Mm,
drive of that purpose is heart, soul, and spirit directed. And
for
the soul
sure.
can't speak for a closed heart. And
Yeah.
what happens when we feel injured? We shut the heart down, we shut the body down. The
Mhm.
fluidity of the rhythm of the divine has to constantly be in flow. So if you're
Mhm.
shutting everything down, it's at the door knocking, saying, let me in.
Let
Open
me
up
in.
your heart, right?
Yeah.
Find the courage to stand up for yourself. Find the strength to go on. You have it in you. You have the abilities in you. Stop
Yeah.
selling yourself short. Just
Yeah.
open your heart and let the soul guide you. We've got you.
Oh,
And when
I
you're
love
willing to partner with that, there's no stopping you.
that for sure. I just love that so much. And one thing that I learned, and I think might be a helpful distinction for your listeners, is when I was studying our three brains, our gut, our heart, and our head. First of all, it was a myth that everything happens in our
Absolutely.
head
Yeah.
brain, right? It
Yes.
most happens in our heart brain, and it's an ascending pattern,
Hmm.
gut, heart, head, which we
Yes.
never even knew that.
Feel the knowledge, don't think it. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But that was interesting to me. But the thing that was profound for me is when I looked at the old mystical teachings
Hmm.
and they discerned three hearts. We got our
Hmm.
physical heart, the pump
Hmm.
organ, which we're
Yes.
all, trying to tend to through exercise or diet or however we're doing that. The next subtle layer is the emotional heart. And I
Hmm.
think that's actually the heart people want to turn off because
Yes.
in the emotional heart where we have had the most delicious,
Hmm.
ecstatic feelings. We never want to stop.
Right.
Great love, great care, just like it's amazing. We've
Euphoria.
also, yes, yes, indeed. But we've also had in the emotional heart betrayal
Hmm.
and we felt like we couldn't trust it. So sometimes people under stress, they don't trust this heart because there's this emotional lability, we call it in psychology. But there's another heart that almost none of us were taught about. And that's what the mystics referred to as the spiritual heart. So if you think of
Yes.
the Russian stacked dolls, head,
Hmm.
the physical layer, the emotional layer.
Hmm.
And if I can rest in, I can allow my human range, which is often super big when we're going through stress with
Yes.
our emotional heart. We're overwhelmed, we're crying, we're screaming, it's not fair. We're at peace, we're overwhelmed, we're calm, we're sad, it's all over the place. But in our spiritual heart is only steadiness. If we can just imagine going into that next layer, there only is steadiness there. And to allow the love that we are, I always
Mm.
say, rest in your love.
Yes.
Rest in the love of that spiritual heart that has access to every bit of knowledge ever known, your right answers, your next right
Yeah.
pathway. So when I could learn and I taught my clients that distinction, it was incredible because often they shut off their heart because they thought their heart led them astray.
Yes, exactly.
They'll say, I followed my heart and this was a
Look
nightmare.
what
I can't
happened to
trust it.
me.
And
Yes.
I'm like, you followed your emotional heart. And
Yes.
our emotional heart is not the best barometer,
Mm.
but our cosmic heart
Yes.
is unchanging, never wavers, eternally, infinitely wise. And it is knocking on your heart's doorway to say, let me lead the way.
Our emotions are there as an indication to how we feel to something in the moment. It's a reaction. I'm happy,
Mhm.
I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm glad. It's look at that emotion and go, okay, what has triggered it, or what is what is it responding to? And
Mhm.
look at it for what it is, deal with it for what it is. But don't
Mhm.
become emotional over your emotions,
Yeah.
because that's when you're stepping into the trauma, you're stepping into the drama. And
Yeah.
very often people become so emotional over something that they actually can't remember what they were originally, emotional about.
Yeah.
They've got caught up in that hurricane. And that just leads to more despair and more that you're shutting down all the chakras and all the flows in the body, and the body needs to be in flow. So
Yes.
sometimes we just have to stop, put the foot on the brakes, and take those deep breaths.
Mhm.
Really breathe in and slowly exhale, and do it a few times until you feel the body and everything else can just calm down. And then really look at it rationally. What am I really getting worked up about?
Yeah.
Do I
Yeah.
really want to be there? Because is this feeling really serving me?
Mhm.
And then again, going back to that word choice, do I choose to change directions? Because
Mhm.
ultimately, what you're talking about, this divine essence of who you are, this beautiful spiritual being that's having a human existence, is
Yep.
all about love.
Mhm. Yeah. Right.
It's the
So
love frequency.
it is. I just love that. I think that we are souls traversing in wonder suits of a body. And we forget that, right? We get
Yeah.
all preoccupied on our bodies. We're too short, too tall, too
Mhm.
thin, too wide, too much nose, not enough hair.
Yeah.
We get all caught up in that not enoughness. And the invitation, I believe, is to say, okay, I'm aware of all of that physical narrative that my mind has been so well programmed in, and I decline that invitation.
Thank
I
you.
instead
Not today, thank you.
Yeah, I love that. Not
Yeah.
today, thank you.
Yeah.
And I will only accept harmony and alignment with the purity of who I am. No matter what's happened in my life, we've all made messy choices. I
Mhm.
sure have. And that's okay. That's
Don't
our
beat
human.
yourself up about it. Don't persecute
Good
yourself for it.
Lord. And we're going to
Yeah.
make some more, by
Oh
golly.
gosh, yeah. And the thing is,
As
when you
we
know
go.
better, you do better.
Yeah,
So
quicker.
we can't change what we've done. We
Yeah.
maybe have to apologize sometimes, but
Yeah.
even apologize to yourself. But you did what you did in that time with what you knew. Now you know better. You are going to do better. So there's no point in beating yourself up for what has been. The crying over spilt milk, right?
Yeah.
Get the pussycat in to lick up the milk.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I think one of my practices that I love is that every day, um, just send an intention or a prayer, whatever language works for
Mm,
you, um, to appreciate how you moved in the world that day,
hmm
whatever it is. And if there's something where you go, oh man, that was not my best moment. I was so light and it was messy or
Mm,
da 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 da. To actually forgive yourself every single day. I think that there's a beauty in
yeah.
every day just saying, okay, uh, it's a brand new moment. Tonight as I rest and as I awaken, but love really is
hmm
that returning to love, as Marianne Williamson used to say in her first book. But for me, it is returning to that essence of who we are. But I love daily forgiveness because then it's not such a big deal. It's
Exactly.
it's
And we're going to have thoughts sometimes that, aren't in line with the heart essence. And it's again that human reaction. And it's like, okay, get it off your chest, right?
yes.
Spend the emotion before you get it stuck in it. Um,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, okay, all right, now take that deep breath and realign. Get
Yeah.
back in center with self, right? Get
Yes.
back in presence with self,
Yeah.
and then continue on. But
It's so important because when you talk about centering yourself, we can't turn inward in our 70,000 thoughts a day because
no.
they're always in the past. They're
Mm,
afraid of the future. We're going to mess up. We're not going to be adequate. So we have to find a way to soften
mhm.
and empty, and then actually drop in. And breath it's free. It's probably the most miraculous gift we're ever given. That's how we get to navigate Earth School right now because of breath. But I love just placing one hand on heart center, one on my belly,
Yeah.
because we follow touch, right? And
Yes.
the second we touch those wisdom centers, we already soften and we move in. And then you feel that breath moving in your body. And with that deliberate awareness to that, it's amazing what you start to open up.
Yeah.
You can look in your heart and say, okay, like, I seriously need some help right now. Like,
Right.
help me out. But it's not asking your head, it's asking the sanctuary in your heart.
The core of you, right? The
Yeah.
generator of you. The thing
Yeah.
about breath, it literally forces you to elongate,
Yeah.
open up, align those chakras. It
Yeah.
not only allows the oxygen to go through your body,
Yeah.
it allows the flow of the energy to go through you. And in that flow, everything calms down. And when you're
Mm.
calm, clarity can present itself. When
Mhm.
you're in anxiety and crunched, the chi, the energy can't go through you, and
Yeah.
confusion is constantly knocking at your door. So just the deep breaths in and out and a line up, and just like, what do I need to know? Get it. Don't
Yeah.
dictate. Don't dictate. Just what do I need to know in this present? And then
Yeah.
become present with yourself. And the answer always reveals itself, and sometimes in very bizarre ways.
It is, right? And gosh, I have just got thousands and thousands over the 30 years of um, proof of that through
Yes.
myself and through my client. Now I can't prove it, but we've got
But
proof
if
of
we
it.
could get out of that thing of prove it, because if
I
you're stuck
know.
in the, well, prove it, we'll prove it. When I go, okay, do you believe in God? Yes. Have you met him? Oh, no. Then, but you still believe.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So when something resonates with such truth, not from the head, but from the heart and the soul and the spirit, and everything about you in the gut, in the heart, in that whole solar plex,
Yeah.
just feels that truth. There is no
Yeah.
need for validation or justification or
I,
any of that. It is your truth in that moment, and that's all that matters.
yes, I 1000% agree with that wisdom. I have a saying that says, your body truth precedes your mind lies.
Yes.
And because our mind is gonna want to take us off course, take us to the familiar external, to the shoulds of what we're told or we think in comparison is the right thing to do.
And it's
But
argumentative.
I know. But when we drop in, our body truth actually
Mm,
knows how to precede all those mind stories. And our body truth shows up in resonance,
mhm.
right? Maybe you get goosebumps. Maybe you just feel an
Yeah.
expansive relief. Maybe you start getting inspired downloads. And it's like our
Mm,
body truth will just start to reveal. That's what I love about this universe. So clever. Like the ways it tries to reach you every
mm.
day, not just when you ask, by the way,
Yeah.
but every day you're getting like a mail person full of hundreds of little love notes
Yeah.
saying, we're with you.
You're
Pause,
not alone.
tune in. You are not alone.
Never alone.
You've got this, or we've got this with you.
Yeah.
So I want people to be able to open the love note
Yeah.
because they forget in times of challenge. It's like this. Somebody saying to me, Jeanine, this is not a love note. And I said to them, you know what? It doesn't feel like one right now, but I wonder if you're willing to explore it and test and try. Because what do you got to lose? And they had enough willingness and
Mm,
wonder to act on the inspired ideas. I wasn't going to help them find their alignment and resonance and prove it. They do every
Yeah.
single time. They'll come back and they'll be like, I'll be dipped. I
Yeah.
had no idea, but just a simple willingness to experiment opens up um, another layer of your infinite capability and capacity.
It's the universal's permission because, again, it has to be free will. The
Mhm.
universal energy and wisdom is there ready to come through you. But it
Yeah.
has to be that partnership between the human spirit and the universal spirit to dance together. And you can't force the dance. It has to be of free will. And when the human spirit says, I am open and ready to receive, then the universe can come through and embrace the human spirit. And in that partnership, it is just a beautiful dance to a music that you never, as a human spirit, would have chosen, but it's
Mhm.
so utterly divine and
Yeah.
so fulfilling and so enjoying that it is, etheric moments that you then understand of keeping that channel open to the universe.
Yeah.
And the intellect we have in our head is data based. It's everything that
Mhm.
we've ever learned. It's also what our parents have learned, passed on through the DNA, past lives, everything. It's all that memory data in there. And we have so much up in there. But the confusion we have is how to use it. And if we get stuck just in the head, we're on that treadmill of yes, but what? No,
Yeah.
but if I did that, but blah, 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 blah. Right? And then we don't come to any conclusion. But when we invite the universal spirit to the human spirit to come through and ignite the heart, and the spirit gets interaction, and the mind will know what the mind needs to know when the
Mhm.
mind needs to know it. And that's the clarity that we all seek, but we've got to get out of our own way. But first, that permission. Come dance with
Mhm.
me, universe. I'm open and willing and ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And you can even say, I'm skeptical and I'm willing. So it's okay to say that
Mm.
initially because what we're looking for is willingness. It's
Yes.
okay to acknowledge, man, this is out of my comfort zone.
Hmm.
I'm not sure about this. So I'm a little like, not sure. And I'm willing and I'm committed to give it an honest go. Not just time one. We don't go to the gym one time and
You're
expect
right.
miraculous results,
No, but I thought that was a
Uh,
downloadable app that you did, and you end up with a
I
Cardassian body.
darn it. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, I love that. And right now I think we're at a time where life has gotten very loud. Life
Oh,
has gotten loud on a global level. Life has gotten loud and on a country level, on a local and community level. And for a lot of my clients, life is getting loud, even if it's quiet to the
yes,
other side of the world. They might feel a quiet desperation. And I think life actually had to get this loud.
it did.
I think systems had to start to begin to crumble, or
Mm,
we would not have been willing
to
to say,
change.
oh, there's another way
Yes.
to medical approval, for example. They always
Mm,
said, no, 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 we can't do televisits. Well, of course, we always could do them, but until force, they didn't
mm,
want to change. Well, us spiritual beings in a wonder suit um, aren't much different.
mm,
I fully believe we can change equally as high and as well through joy, but most of us get complacent, and I
yeah.
did too. And when my soul said, "Uh-uh, there's a greater possibility for
Mm,
you, Jeanine Thompson," things had to get loud
mm,
in order for me to go, "Ooh, okay." Sometimes things don't get loud for people. They get sideswiped in
yeah.
life and
Or
surprised.
repressed. Mm,
Yeah. And some others just simply couldn't have predicted the challenge that they're being offered right now. But no matter how it arises, I heard some whispers, I ignored it, and then finally like got loud, right? Or it took me by complete surprise and I could have never have known this was
right.
coming my way. The truth is, it actually doesn't matter how the invitation arises open it,
Hmm.
because it's actually holding a mirror for you to look at
Yes.
yourself and remind yourself of who you really are and your capability and capacity to traverse what is ever in front of you in a way that will surprise you,
Yeah.
delight you in the best possible way. It's remarkable. I'm in awe of
Yeah.
what we're capable of.
I know. And how come we didn't come to this conclusion a long time ago, right? But we were too busy following the dictation, of society and not going in. You,
I
you
think
talk,
so.
yeah, certainly. Like there's a wonderful Celtic rune called Haglas, and Haglas is disruption. And I
Mhm.
used to get it a lot when I drew the runes, and they're like, oh, why have I got you again? And then I realized I can't have clarity before I have the disruption. The disruption is clearing things out. And the
Yes.
reason why we're hearing so much loudness right now, so much protest right now, is because those people understand the shift is happening more
Yes.
over to the peaceful, higher enlightened, higher vibration of love. And the more people that go over there, the quieter they are, more harmonious they are. And these are people that are still confused, haven't got the message yet, are ignoring the message, or downright don't want to receive the message. And so
Hmm.
the protesting extremely loud. Well,
Hmm.
resistance is futile because
Hmm.
ultimately at some point you're going to have to face that invitation. One way or the other, whether
Hmm.
you decline it or not is your choice, but you're going to have to face it. And it's so
Hmm.
much easier if you open it up. And in that word that you mentioned before, in wonder,
Yeah.
go, well, I wonder where this will take me.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Right. And while you're agreeing to accept the invitation, there most certainly is likely to become periods of darkness,
Of
right?
course,
They've been
that's how you
all
see the
sorts of,
light.
well, it is how we see the light, but what I'm struck about with the dark is, I think one of our most profound wisdom teachers is nature. And when I
Hmm.
started to studying dynamic exchange, a universal law, I was like, oh my gosh, the answers have been in plain sight, walking
Yes,
with us every day, and we missed it.
yes,
The
yes.
sun rises, but it sets so the land can rejuvenate and have
Mm-hmm.
a break from the sun. The tides go in and the tides
Mm-hmm.
go out. It is in the dark, rich soil of the womb that there's growth, of the soil that the plants, the flowers,
Yes.
the tree was whatever, they grow. But nature doesn't fight the darkness.
No.
Like we're pain avoidant. We're like, fix it. I don't want the dark. I want it done. Da 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 da. Let's get to the answer onward. And instead, the invitation is rest. Put
Hmm.
your hands in the dark dirt. Be okay and say, you know what? I'm listening and I'm open to whatever timing, even if you don't believe it, and just keep
Fake it
planting.
until you make it.
Well, no, just keep planting the seeds of
Mm,
willingness in the dirt. And
yeah.
it's actually in that dark. If we can come to embrace the dark, see, the media has taught us
Hmm.
sun is bad. My gosh, you're going to get age
Yeah.
spots, and sun is bad. And media has taught us dark is bad. Bad things happen at night. But in our personal darkness, if we can understand it's not about us breaking down, falling apart, being a mess, and never to recover, it truly is about being enveloped in the richest love of darkness that's rejuvenating and renewing, and it will birth the new path through you. And boy, is that a different understanding.
It is
Like,
certainly. Is it?
this dark is actually here to help me rest,
Hmm.
because I move too much in the day. I
Hmm.
think too much. I try and avoid my pain too much. But in the darkness, if we let ourselves be held,
Yes.
the light just like black holes are now seen in the dark. Black holes contain light. I love that new research.
Hmm.
I don't need research to prove it, but I love for some of my clients who are still needing some of that.
Yes,
I'm
the
like, see,
validation.
there's
Hmm.
always been light in the dark. I've been
Mm.
trying to tell you we are the light in the
Mm.
dark. But one of my invitations is, can you just truly allow yourself to invite in the darkness and just say, hold me, I'm listening.
That's where the richness in the soil is how the roots grow. Right.
Yes.
Now, I escaped into the darkness for a period of in my life when I was in a great deal of turmoil and a marriage that was very tumultuous. And I got very comfortable in the dark and I didn't want to come back out into the light. But the light was all there. I always knew where it was. And I
Yeah.
eventually found that courage to come back out. And initially, the light was blinding. And then, I was
Mm,
feeling the shadows chasing me from the dark. And then it got to be, okay, I'm comfortable in the light. But
yeah.
what is more important is I can go into that darkness without fear, without
Mm.
escape, because I know I am the light in the darkness.
You are the light in the darkness, and you actually, there's a part of you today, no matter what the problem is, no matter what the circumstances are in your life, there is already within you today a part of you that knows the way.
Yes.
But we can't push it. And for your listeners, I've tried. Just note to
Yeah.
self, it doesn't work well. When
Yeah.
we try
It
and
pushes
push,
back.
yeah, when
Yeah.
we try and push divine timing and we think we know better and we're
Yeah.
going to outsmart it, we
It
get
has a good laugh.
schooled. Yeah, I would say the universe has a good giggle. They're laughing at Jeanine Thompson again, or with me.
Yeah.
But I love that you actually settled in and welcomed it. And I want everybody to practice that. Like, we don't have to fear the dark.
No.
Now, by the way, it might be the beauty of the and which I speak to. In moments in the dark, you might actually need to feel the crushing pain.
Hmm.
Allow the tears to just flow. Allow the unknowingness to just be unknowingness, but it does stop. And,
Yes.
and in time, in your right timing, it will be revealed. It's a miraculous, awe-filled, wonder-filled world that is, I believe, benevolent on our behalf,
It's like
despite
it,
all the
that just
crazy out there.
it's like the gestation that you need to go through before rebirthing yourself.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
birth is painful. Anybody
yeah,
who's given birth knows. Uh, it's painful, but the joy that we have at the end of it is all worth the pain. And that you have that 9 months of, a joy, wonder, and uncomfortable,
yeah,
the throwing up, the backache, the swollen ankles, the tired, that everything else, but there's going to be a miracle at the end of it. And so we go through it. So we've also got to understand it isn't a choice where, okay, now I'm going to embrace the light, shine it on me, everything's going to be okay. Everything is a process. There are
yeah,
stages of you've got to be willing to go through that process in order to be able to step out into that light and understand what that light is showing you.
yeah,
There is no quick, fast track. Okay, I've decided I'm going to do this. I'm going to apply myself and I'm going to get there by tomorrow. No, it is things will reveal as they need to be revealed.
for
Because that
sure.
is you taking it in, absorbing it, knowing how to use it, how to adapt to it. And that process needs to be slow because it's also showing you things don't have to be done in a rush. It is when you take the time, that's truly what you actually understand the importance of it.
Yeah. And it also allows for your individuality,
Mm.
right? We need all of the nearly 8 billion lights of expression on this earth right now. So we can't look at, I always used to say, our neighbor's yoga mat. They might be able to do one pose better than you. Theirs might be easy. I'm awkward. I'm inflexible. Mine's not going to look like that. Some paths may be just a little bumpy. Some might have some caverns and big bumps.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really important to take off the comparison glasses
Yes, please. I hate
We
the word
are.
comparison. You know,
Yes,
we're all unique. We're not to be compared with.
yeah. So your timing will be your timing, but
Mm.
maybe a prayer or intention of, you know what, shower me with grace that I remember who I am. Remind me I'm everything I need to be in order to move through this.
And who you are today through life experience, you may be someone different tomorrow because we don't just reach a destination and stop growing. We keep growing because we realize how infinite we are, how
Yeah.
infinite the wisdom is, how infinite the knowledge is, how capable we are. All we have to do is look at our technology and look at the advances that we've had there that have been exponential, so much more further forward than we are as human intellectuals.
Mhm.
And the invitation now is, oh no, as a human beings, we need to now kind of match that advancement and rise up to that higher level, that higher frequency. And the more that we
Yeah.
step into that high frequency of love, the more clarity we have, the more unison we have, the more of a global community we have, and more peace and understanding we have. For
Yeah.
we are the peace we seek, we are the love we seek.
For sure. And I think the world right now, the universe is saying, yoo-hoo,
Yeah.
you've relied on, you've relied on the various technologies, whether it's been in medicine or consumer electronics, it doesn't matter. You've loved that. But now the invitation is actually come meet your soul's technology
Yes.
is through energy. And you mentioned a few times the chakras being in flow. We can
Mm,
do that with our breath and our
yes.
imagination and have a perfect flow in our chakras. We can do it through the technology of soul technology of light. It is amazing to me how powerful it is to send a blessing. I oftentimes have my leaders send a blessing to a coworker they can't stand for
Yes.
30 days. And invariably they'll come back and say, I don't know what happened, but they even said good morning this morning. And they hadn't done that for like months. And then, they'll come back a few weeks later and say, I don't know what happened. We had our first meeting in a year and a half where we didn't want to throttle each other.
Right.
So we have these new technologies
Mhm.
of soul, the breath, the alignment of our energy centers, light, filling our body with light, dropping into the wisdom center heart, and I'm just going to say belly for simplification, and listening and actually co-creating from energy to matter, because that's how it always works. We
Yes.
had that whole thing backwards either. We always thought, it was just matter. It's all about
Yeah.
energy. So I just think that's super exciting. We now get to be the scientist, and
Mm,
soul is our master mystic and professor that's saying, hey, turn on your own technology.
yeah.
You're going to surprise yourself.
You are your own generator. Right?
Yeah.
The wisdom that's given to you is your download into your own computer of understanding. And it is not just a something that you end up thinking, it is something you end up knowing because the intellect of your entire body knows it to be right. Right? We don't want just the head to think it be right. It's when the heart, soul, spirit is in alignment with that, that you know that that is right now, right? It's always the universe always, in its infinite wisdom, always gives you what you need to know in the now. They're not worried about the next moment. It's the now,
Yeah,
right?
isn't that the truth? And
Hmm.
somebody who had been formerly quite impatient, I was like, chop, chop. How
Yeah.
about right now, And then I've learned through this that we actually, I think your soul knows exactly how much adaptation
Hmm.
and growth and elevation can happen in a certain amount of time. So I think that's helped me move into allowance versus force, which was
Yes.
a big one for me my whole life.
You mean, Star Wars, the Force be with you. That is actually not force. It is, may the energy be with you. And
And
when
may
we're,
you trust the allowance.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And the thing is that energy is our, is our force. But
Yeah.
we cannot ever force anything to happen, but we can will it, we can
Yeah.
energize it. And as you said, white lighted, we send out those prayers of love to people because there are a lot of people out there in the world, and there's some that are pure evil because they've shut off from heart, soul, spirit, everything. They're just, the darkness has consumed them in such a way the soil cannot grow. And you can't do anything about these people because we can't reach them. If it has to be a choice of theirs to kind of come back into more nutritious soil. But there are those people that are just hurt, just
Yeah.
angry, just in pain, and they go and lash out and do things in that anger and pain because that's all they know. And as you said, the more we send love and light to them, love and light to them to find their way, and the more we do that, and the more of us that do that,
Yeah.
the more likely they are to start to see that consciousness of following that path. It doesn't mean they may get to where you are, but it does mean that maybe we've chipped away at the pain and the hate and shown them a window of love that's worth following.
Yeah, and that they actually already are. You see, if
Yes.
we can provide them a reflection where even for a few seconds, they actually knew they mattered. That flicker of light that is eternal, that will never ever go out. See, I
Yeah.
believe our humans lose our way, our souls don't lose our way.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we extend that love, even when it's hard, because you know what? Most of us were trained in conditional love from a
Mm-hmm.
kid. If you do this, you get love.
Yeah.
If you do this, you have a timeout and are punished. And
Yeah.
then at school, if you fit in this box, then you're smart and
Mm.
perfect. We do it all the way through life. And now we're being asked to move beyond the superficiality of this vessel and container we navigate in and simply cultivate our own love. And every single day with the creatures, with the land, with the air, with the water, with these messy, beautiful, gorgeous, infinite, clumsy humans and spiritual beings, all of
Yes.
it, and just love them in their
Yeah.
messiness without judgment. We've got the best shot at our electrical charge, reigniting that charge of love within them.
I, you know, I don't believe in judgment because we have no idea of what brought that person to that place. But there is the accountability, and we all have accountability. We're all responsible for our actions. And if we do impose our pain upon others in any way that is negative, we do need to ask forgiveness. It's part of our human journey. And if somebody has imposed pain on you, when you forgive them and let that pain go, it's not only helps healing them, but it's a healing for you because otherwise you're carrying it with you. We are accountable for our actions. Um, we don't condone what they've done, but at the same time, we don't persecute them in a way. Just invite them to see what action they did wrong, to understand why they did it, and how themselves they have within the power within them to make the right decisions. And
Yeah.
I've interviewed a number of people who end up going down a criminal path,
Mm.
and they went through that criminal path through circumstances, through
Mhm.
things that happened to them, and that path, just opened up for them, and it was easy. And then the consciousness suddenly struck them, and then it was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't hurt myself. I can't keep hurting people because they knew it was wrong. And in that awakening of that consciousness, they then in free will decided to make the choice to make amends and come back and, go in to live a life that was more meaningful instead of chasing something. And in doing so now, a beacon of hope and light for others that may be on that path. And,
Mhm.
and that's the thing, everybody has that opportunity to ignite their heart and soul and spirit, no matter who and what you've been. But it does come into you knowing the wrong path and the right path and the free will deciding to take the path of a higher consciousness rather
Mhm.
than give in to that lower vibration.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And tuning into your path
Yeah.
I'm the only place that's going to know. And that's
Yes.
the core of your wisdom centers. Our heads, as brilliant as and important of a tool that they are in our daily life experiences, will not know these answers, can organize, but it's truly within that heart space and core of your belly, sacral space, where that wisdom is saying, ask me, ask
Yeah.
me. You already know, ask me and I'll reveal it.
Right.
And keep your eyes open and all day long, set an intention to say, I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder how life is supporting me today.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see what we look for. And I promise you, all day long, even when we're in pain, because we can be in pain and wonderment
Yes.
simultaneously.
Yes.
And so go through the day wondering, and you will start to see examples of people, little earth angels, I call them,
Mm-hmm.
that are supporting you. And you're going to have a clue on the next step of your treasure map as you return to love.
You know, when we talk about that gut feeling, how do you know that? I don't know. I just, my gut tells me. Well, that's your soul speaking to you. Trust it, right? You don't need to go, well, why do I know? How do I know that? That's the head intellect again. If you know, you know. Now act on that knowingness, right? Go with that flow. Let it take you where it needs to go. Don't block it by going, but I need to have you verify why you know this first, because that's where we get stuck. It's like,
Well, we get stuck and then we get disproven, right?
yeah,
Because
exactly.
the role of gut to me is self-preservation. So it's usually a harm alert. And so if we're walking somewhere and we go, ooh, doesn't feel right, or I'm
Exactly.
leaving my house and I get a ping about, I wonder if I turned off I always have cinnamon and cloves burning on the stove so it smells like Christmas. And um, did I remember to shut that off? So to me, the gut instincts are about preservation. And very quickly you'll learn anytime you don't listen, get
Uh-huh.
home, it's like, oh, the cinnamon just about burnt a hole through the
Yeah,
pan.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
we
Listen
always
to
learn
it. Yeah.
when we move up
Yeah.
the the infinite wisdom from our gut to preservation to the spiritual heart that holds the universe in miniature,
Mm.
right? And then the head, that's your organizer.
Yeah,
It's like a
exactly.
beautiful trio.
Right. Oh,
Um,
I've got this knowledge now and I can apply it in da 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 way, right? These are the tools, the skills.
uh,
It's all there, ready to be used. And again, we sell ourselves so short, but I haven't been trained in this field. How come I know what to do? Well, we have no idea, as you said, 70,000 thoughts a day, what we pick up along the way that is stored up here, just waiting, for when it needs to be used. And there's so much up there that if we just trust that intellect and how to use it, we'll use it in a way that could be quite astounding to us.
yeah. And I'd encourage your listeners to actually listen to this episode multiple times. In fact, you can even put it on right before you go to sleep, because when I do hypnosis too, we want to just recode those new
Yeah.
neuroplasticity. And the beauty of so much of what we're talking about is, even if you understand it intellectually now, for some people, it'll be even just new intellectual. Others will go, yeah, I've heard this. Just keep listening to this, because we're deprogramming old messages that said, hey, the power's out there, it's outside of you.
Yes.
Listen and follow. And what we're saying is, look in the mirror and smile, beautiful.
Yeah.
You are the power.
Yes.
There's a part of you that already knows the way.
Yes.
And go ahead, dig your hands and feet into the dirt. Allow the dirt to purify you, just like it does a mud
Yeah.
massage. And rest, and trust that in the resting, your path of greater possibility will be revealed
Hmm.
and supported.
I think we're such beings of doing.
Mm.
And really what we are should be doing is being.
Yeah.
Just be, just be. The doing will come from the beingness, right?
It will indeed. And sometimes if they're like me, man, my head was busy, 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 busy,
Mm,
busy. And so I often, when I was trying to shift to the allowance and being, would have to say noted, and then I would retouch because I'd have to come back down. And by golly, if it was an active day, my brain would kick in. And it could be, go get this condiment at the store or some crazy thing that did not need to be answered in the moment. And I'd retouch and I'd always just say noted. Sometimes I get playful and I will say, my goodness, you sure are active today. We don't want to fight it. The second that we acknowledge it, retouch, tune back in, and maybe the whole 30 seconds to 2 minutes was largely active and redirective. That's okay. It's celebrate and say, you know what? I've got this. And tomorrow, begin again because your breath, silence actually speaks more wisdom
and
than
darkness,
anything
silence
else.
and darkness. You see and hear so much. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh,
It's so peaceful,
oh,
and it's in that peace that the realizations come to you, the clarity comes to you. And everybody that I know and interviewed through the years that has taken that journey to that higher consciousness, and some of them have had tumultuous journeys, really tumultuous journeys to get there. They've all said every single bit of it was worth it to be who I am today, doing what I'm doing today, and why I'm doing it today, because now I understand. And they're all in the pure joy of being, just being,
yeah,
and they're in peace. They're in peace of who they are, why they are, and what they're doing, and they feel the energy is always with them because this is who they're meant to be. This was their divine, meaningful purpose. This
yeah,
was their beautiful instrument to play. And in
yeah,
playing that beautiful instrument, they found the various orchestras in their life to play it in. And that orchestra is only as strong as each individual player who are willing to come together and play in harmony.
yeah, yeah. And the soul inside of them was saying, welcome back, modern mystic.
Yes.
We are all modern mystics. We don't
Yeah.
know to need to go to ashrams now. We can do that if we like to study, and that's part of it. But I think that the real invitation is all of us are ordinary and extraordinary. We're human and we're mystical. And we need to recapture our modern day mysticism that we are every single day, because the world right now is saying hello,
Yes.
welcome, thank you,
But the
quickly.
universe is saying it's okay, you've had your playground now, and you really have not been very creative with it. So let's change channels. We'd like you to come and play over here for a while and see where it takes you, because the earth is literally, cracking up through all the anger and the hate and the discord. And
Mhm.
as a humanity, we're feeling, almost out of breath from all the disruption out there. And we want to point fingers and say, it's this, and this fault. And we don't realize there's three fingers coming back at us and saying, but what are you going to do about it? We don't
Yeah,
need another pitchfork. We don't need another gun. We don't need another anger, right?
yeah.
We want you to step into the vibration of self-love, because
Mm.
it's in that self-love that you find your own empowerment, your
Mm.
own enrichment, your own abundance, so that your cup can runneth over. And when everybody realizes their own abundance and all these cups are running over, just look at the kind of life that we can have.
Yes.
No
Yeah.
poverty, no hate. That doesn't mean things don't go wrong, but it does mean that we know how to cope with it and be graceful about it.
Mhm.
Now, your book, 911 for the Soul,
Yes.
is very appropriately titled, I think, because our soul at the present moment is desperately trying to guide us to the water hose to put out that fire. But we're dialing the wrong number. So tell us about the book.
I think that this book came out of a time when the details of my life looked great from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
I had a big job, wonderful family, cool travel, achieving success by back to externals and
Mm-hmm.
standards. But every night I had this tremendous restlessness. Something was off, something elusive was missing. I had no clue what it was. I
Right.
tried to gratitude it away, going, I'm really grateful. I really, really am. But it just would
Yeah.
not go away. Ultimately, it led me on a great search. And that search was to figure out what the heck was missing. It
Mm-hmm.
led me to places, yoga certification, Reiki certifications, working with shamans and healers. Now, from somebody who was an evidence-based psychotherapist, this was not part of my plan
Right.
whatsoever, right? But that's the beauty of spiritual awakenings.
Mm-hmm.
When things are so turned upside down, we actually become more open.
Yes,
Our
the
old
reveal.
Yeah,
Mm.
the old answers aren't working, right? And once I had this magnetic understanding and pull inward, I knew what my role was. It wasn't to be an executive anymore. It was to be what I call kind of a matchmaker for the soul,
Mm-hmm.
uniting you with parts of yourself you've lost sight of.
Yeah.
But I got scared at that because honestly, I thought I would be rejected. I'm like, Fortune 50 executives are not looking for a matchmaker for the soul. Of that, I'm quite sure. And, it just tipped everything upside down. So I did probably what a lot of your readers did, which is sometimes we know a truth we don't want to know.
Yeah.
And so we ignore it, we tie it up in a bow, we rationalize it.
La la
But
la 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 la. Can't hear you.
exactly, you know, but here's the problem. When we live in half congruence with a deeper truth that our soul wants to be birthed through us,
Mm-hmm.
things are going to get upset in your life. And that's what happened with me. I almost tanked my business, some financial stress. I tried all the conventional ways to
Mm-hmm.
sell traditional coaching programs. By the way, a lot of people were doing great impact, great money. I couldn't sell a thing to save my soul because the universe was saying,
Wrong
Jeanine,
direction.
sweetheart, this one's not for you.
Exactly.
Stay
Mm-hmm.
on your own yoga mat,
Play your
right?
own instrument. Play your
Yeah,
own instrument.
you
You don't
got
need to
it.
go
It
play the
was
piano if you're a
screaming.
guitarist,
It
Yeah.
was screaming. I kept saying, stop it. I know the way.
Yeah.
So the net of it was this reunification with the divine consciousness, the infinite beingness that I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with while in the dark soil. Once I finally surrendered, I'm kind of a fighter. So it took me a while, to actually surrender into the dark, as we had shared before. I came up with these 7 key spiritual principles: soul, mind, body, heart, spirit, gratitude, and love.
Mm.
And in each principle, there's an earth view. How do we understand soul from an earth view? That's our conditioned,
Mm.
biased, programmed self. How do we understand soul from a soul view? How do you live the beauty of the and? We're
Yeah.
still traversing an earth school, but how do we do it more often as the soul we are?
Mm.
And then I always have a section on nature because nature is available for anybody. Even when I lived in a bustling city, I could have, a plant in my
Yeah.
space. I could, there was a way to open the window and feel the breeze or connect with the sun. So the book is for anyone who honestly, who knows in their heart there's a greater possibility for them, who maybe knows something in their life they don't want to know, whether it's about a relationship or a health situation. And it becomes a daily blueprint to
Mm-hmm.
help you live your essential nature, your soulful nature, and does it in, I think, just a really beautiful way. There are practices at the end of each chapter, and do them. I don't think this book in particular is not meant to be read. I've got a poetic writing style, so it might be enjoyable to read, but stop each chapter, get your journal out,
Yeah.
allow
Participate,
participate,
integrate.
allow the book to move through you, and then take a look when you're done. But the invitation is there's someone you're longing to meet.
Yes.
That someone actually is you.
And some people call it the inner child, some the inner spirit or the soul. But it is, this particular genre of show is called Ignite Your Heart and Soul. And when you do ignite them and allow them to optimize at the full power that they're in, then that clarity of why you are living, why you're here, uh, and what to do. I mean, all of it becomes so much clearer, but that willingness to take the journey, to be wondrous, to connect, to not just look at it and go, oh, that's very interesting, but to go, I'm going to participate in this. I'm going
Yes.
to integrate in
Yes.
this. I'm going to open myself up and whatever skills and tools that are going to help me do that, I'm going to partake in.
Yes.
It isn't just listen to, it's not just read to, and that's all very nice. What are you going to do about it? Remember, three fingers coming back at you, right?
Yes.
How are you going to now practice this? How are you going to now immerse yourself into this so that you can discover your soul, your beingness, your
Yeah.
beautiful purpose here? Because it doesn't happen if you don't partake. It's just a nice story. So I think this is something we've become a little delusional about in life is kind of we're waiting everything for the download or the app or the this or that to
Hmm.
simplify things. You still got to go through that process and do
All of
what
us do.
do what you need to do because that's where the connection comes in.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when the light and the sun and the heart and the spirit all shines is when you are participating. And there may be along the way some ugliness that comes up. It's not out to get you. It's out to be uh, revealed so you can release it, right?
Yeah.
So any darkness that comes up while you're on this journey is just simply, I recognize you and I release you. It's
Yes.
not meant to go with you. So the sense of who you are at the end of it is that, I know this may sound almost your body is hollow and light. You're not carrying the weight of the body with you,
Right.
right? You're carrying the spirit and the essence of you, which is always making you feel light.
Yeah. For sure. Beautifully, beautifully said. And you'll get a chance to see the orchestration of the intelligence of life.
Yeah.
There's a piece where you go back and you look and you're like, wow, I wouldn't have met this person had it
Mm-hmm.
not been for this person who I could have never set up. I couldn't have made this impact with animals or at home as a mom or dad or in my career. Whatever your life is, it is always facilitated through fellow earth travelers.
Yes.
And there is such great, not only intelligence, there's relief. Go ahead and let go of the steering wheel. We don't have to, well, we need it somewhat to drive
Yeah.
safely, but not gripping so tightly
Yeah.
because there's a golden thread running through your life that is designed to guide, love, and protect you.
Yeah. It's throw away the map or the GPS and let the soul go guide you. It's got a path that you never would have chosen for yourself. That's not even on that map, not on the
Yeah.
human map. It's on the soul map, and just surrender to the direction they want to take you in. And the wonderment of what will be revealed is just so illuminating
Yeah.
that you never could have chosen this for yourself just from the human aspect. The soul, heart, spirit had to be merged together in order for you to truly have this beautiful divine experience.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I marvel. I marvel in awe and wonder. And the night sky helps me do that. I look up and I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
it's just, we are so loved along the way. And if we don't pause to join that,
Mm.
like a sky gazing, it's reflecting to us once again in plain sight.
It is.
this awe and wonder actually is you.
Yeah.
It's okay. These lights, these stars in the sky, they'll light the way. There's light around us every day. So beautifully said. Yeah.
We are all looking to love. We're all looking to be loved. We all want to feel we're worthy, that we count,
We
and
matter.
that we
Yep.
matter. You
Yeah.
can't matter or count or be worthy to anyone else until you are to yourself. And the way you are to yourself is when you are united with heart, soul, spirit, and mind and body. When you're all in tune together,
Yeah.
then not only are you worthy, you are divine. You
Yeah.
are the love you seek. You are the essence of higher vibration and consciousness. Everything that you feel is you. And you no longer need the validation from the external.
Yeah.
You no longer need the love to justify you or complete you, for you are the love. So you attract the love,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so everything that we're seeking on the outside, we must first become on the inside. And
Mhm.
then what we attract on the outside is only what we need
Mhm.
to collaborate
Yeah.
cohesively throughout
Yeah.
this journey.
Absolutely. And listen, we can receive an outside gesture of support with kind of just humility and
Hmm.
gratitude and grace and say thank you. But it's augmentative. I mean, it adds to the
Hmm.
internal. It isn't that it is what we need in order
Right.
to realize
Yeah.
a greater truth of who we are.
Back to the analogy of, what instrument are you? When you
Yeah.
learn to play it, and I love interviewing musicians and singers because they are the instrument. They
Yes.
are the instrument. They're at one with it. And when they play it, that soul and heart just come
Mm.
screaming through what they're doing. And that's when you can join the orchestra. And that orchestra, as I said, is only as strong as each individual instrumentalist. But we then learn out of respect of each other to find that harmony, create that symphony that resonates out in invitation to everyone else. And it's
Mhm.
it's very beautiful when you can come together with your music and another's music and
Mhm.
symbiotically come together. And it's I haven't found a word for it yet. Exaltation.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Music
So
is,
for people to reach out to you, not only to get the book, but what you are offering them. If somebody wants to be your client, what is the process, please?
yeah. So you can find me at JanineThompson.net. And first of all, I just love to hear from you. So drop me a note in the contact section. What sparked your heart, and let's interact. I promise I'll answer you. There is a special in November and December. Given all that's going on in the world, I wanted to make my services a little more accessible to a
Mhm.
broader group. So there's a 6-session special, which I think is reasonable and available to everyone. So that's a possibility. You can find me, and I'm a creator. I've had
Mhm.
this crazy history, psychotherapist, exec, energy worker, spiritual growth teacher. I will meet you where you are,
Right.
and we'll create together. You can
Hmm.
also find me at underscore Jeanine Thompson underscore on Instagram. You can find the book at Barnes and Noble in the US, Amazon worldwide, and often local bookstores. If you go in, they can just order it if you want to support your local community as well. But I would love to hear from you.
I always say books are a gift that keep on giving, because you can read it once and then you're drawn back to it, or whatever it's taught you, you constantly refer to, or it stays with you, or you go back to the book and just open up to a page. What do I need to know? And there's something
You
in
read
there
it
that you need to know at the
differently.
moment.
Mhm.
And I think it's a great gift to give. We are in December. It's a great gift to give when you know somebody that is in that transition, that is searching, or is just feeling like, life doesn't feel enough. Why? I've got everything. Why does it not feel enough? This is someone that is poised and ready to take that path. of exploration into the soul activation. So, this is a great time for the book and a great time to reach out to you and just start the process, because that first leap is in the first step that you take, right?
Absolutely.
And just dip your toes in the water. Just come and try it out. But don't give up after a first try of anything. It is those that try and try again until, now I've got the right note, I've got the
Got
right
it.
step, I've got the right this. Then you feel that flow, but you've got to be willing to try. And for those that are listening and not seeing the link here, Jeanine is Jeanine, Thompson, THOMPSON, and it's .net, folks, .net. She's on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and it's all there. And the book there is on Amazon. And I love doing shows like this of awakeners, because those that have awoken to the spirit, to that soul goodies,
Really,
truly
right.
understand, right?
Yeah,
Truly
and in
understand.
our pre-talk, I'm like, oh, just resonant, just
Yeah,
beautiful.
it is absolutely wonderful. And it's for all the bad news that we get on social
Mm.
media, on media and everything else, it's to just understand, when you clean your house and it's all sprinkly and clean and everything, it feels so good. This high glass right now is you're doing a good clean out of all that does not serve you, of all
Mhm.
the parts that you're robotically doing every day that is mind numbing, and that you want to ignite yourself into something that's more meaningful, something that you get up every single day and say, thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
I'm alive today. I've got that
Yes.
juice. Because,
Yeah.
like, for a while, I lost my juice.
Yes.
I'm like, I should love this. I should be happy. I should be satisfied.
The moment you're going should, there's something wrong,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
it's wrong, right? But I fought myself. And when I finally just said, I wonder how life wants to move through to me
Mhm.
next. Wow, game changer. And then it brought me back in. They're like, honey, stop looking outside of yourself.
Yes.
It's the gal in the mirror every day you're looking for.
Yeah. And I came across this word a couple of years ago and I absolutely love it. It's flawsome. And,
Oh,
we're all flawsome creatures. Every single one of us has a flaw of some kind, but that's what makes us unique.
that's
So let's be awesome with it. Everybody be flawsome. You are awesome. I don't care. Fat, thin, tall, think, pink, yellow, polka dot, who cares? When you're in your essence, in all your beautiful quirkiness, in your own beautiful uniqueness, that awesomeness of you is something that is illuminating and exciting for someone else. So stop trying to compare or compete or model yourself after someone else. You are enough. We need you from the inside out. We want to
yeah,
gobble you up, not some image of somebody else.
yes. Amen. Absolutely perfectly said.
Thank you so much for taking your journey and redirecting to the path that you're on now. We're at that time in history where more and more and more we need to ignite this. And, we talked before the show whether it's going to go under business or under spirit. And, one thing we talk about in business today, if you're not authentic within yourself, if you're not coming at your business from the inside out, people don't resonate with you. And if they can't buy you, why should they buy from you? So you're going to help your business, you're going to help your love life, you're going to help your experience of life,
Mhm.
absolutely every aspect of your life, for taking the inside out journey and becoming the essence of who you are. So don't be afraid to do it. It is a wonderful experience. And instead of being afraid of the unknown, step into the wonderment of life, the exploration and the adventure of your own
Curious, like I'm
self-discovery.
super curious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, sure, it's going to reveal some things now and again, and it's like, oh, okay, you can go. But what's around the corner? Let's go and see. Be curious, please, because that is so exciting. Thank you so much for being with us here today, Jeanine.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
And remember, folks, the book there, great Christmas gift. She's got that course that you can sign up for. Just reach out to her, have a chat, and see if there's a right synergy between the two of you. But please, I beg of you, step into your free will of wanting to take this journey, because I promise you, if you're willing to take this journey, you will never look back. You'll look back and go, thank God I'm not there anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Right. I wait so long. That's what
well,
we
right.
often ask,
Yeah,
you know?
why did I wait so long?
Mm,
And just immerse yourself in every moment of every day with that wonderment, that gratitude, and that exploration, and the willingness to receive. Because
mm,
in the receiving, that's how we know how to give.
mhm.
Merry Christmas to you, and to everyone else. Don't forget, get the book, listen to this show again, share it with other people, and then each of you have a conversation as to what you got from it, because then we learn from each other's perspectives,
Yeah, let
right?
that good juju
Yes.
keep just spreading and
Y-
infiltrating our wonderful energetic
Yeah. Let it be a
grid.
chorus. Let it
Earth.
be the
Yeah.
orchestra, right? Absolutely. And don't forget, we need you. We need your beautiful divine essence. So please come on in. The waters are great, and the earth, the universe, humanity in itself needs your beautiful essence. So please step into it. So until next time, folks. Bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Find all of our shows on selfdiscoverymedia.com under podcasts or selfdiscoverymedia/shows. And for all our current shows, go to What's New. We are supported by you, the audience. You'll see a nice big shiny blue button for one-time donations, or follow us on Patreon and you will be able to support us there. We enjoy bringing you such wisdom. And the next show will be up in just a moment.